New numbers from the CDC showing just how big an impact the H1N1 flu has had across this country. Since April, an estimated 22 million Americans have had that strain of the flu. About 4,000 died, including 540 children. The numbers also show nearly 98,000 people have been hospitalized. All of these numbers are much higher than previous reports, though the government says it's not a sign the flu has gotten worse, but rather shows better tracking of the virus.
Speaking of hospitalization, we have heard that a lot of people are showing up at emergency rooms who don't really need to be there. So when should you seek medical help? To find out, 24-hour News 8's Henry Erb tracking the case of a West Michigan man who nearly died from flu complications because he waited.
Well, Tom Perkins says he's 33 years old, never expected that he'd be near death because of H1N1, but he was. And following his case through the system shines some light on medical help and when to get it. After about a week with flu symptoms, Tom Perkins felt lousy enough to go to the emergency room in Vicksburg, even though he doesn't have health insurance. The medical staff checked him over, gave him some meds, and sent him home.
You know, and he was comfortable with that, and they did a breathing treatment there, and he seemed to feel better. You know, and that's, again, with the whole insurance thing, that's what we could afford to do.
Then a week later, Perkins says his condition suddenly changed. He had serious trouble breathing.
You're really, really gasping for air. And you just can't feel your chest, and your chest is so, you know, feels like it's caving in, and it was just so bad. And that's when you know, okay, my body's trying to tell me, hey, you know, you probably need to go see somebody.
And in fact, that's exactly when the head of the team that treated Perkins says people should get medical attention.
When you have difficulty breathing, when you have trouble breathing is really the heralding sign that something is probably a little more serious than just a typical flu, and that's when the patient should be generally admitted for observation.
His wife Gail says because they have no health insurance, they debated waiting another day and taking Tom to the doctor instead, but fortunately decided to go back to the emergency room right away.
Exactly. He was very sick, required mechanical ventilation for a while, and yeah, he could have not, may have died, but...
Tom says the medical staff at the Vicksburg Hospital recognized immediately that he was in trouble, and he says they moved fast to send him downtown to Bronson.
My mom offered to take me to Kalamazoo, and they said, no, you absolutely need to be in an ambulance, and we will take you now.
Quick action at just the right time seems to have saved his life, but was there any way his sudden turn from flu to pneumonia could have been predicted?
I think that, yeah, he probably started with a flu-like syndrome, which is what we're seeing, and the majority of those patients do well. Some patients, after a period of time, will develop a secondary complication, which is usually bacterial pneumonia, and those are hard to predict. So it was okay for him to be discharged and go home, but he ended up with a secondary complication, and that's what brought him into the hospital and made him so sick.
Tom Perkins is recovering at home, hopes to be off oxygen next week, and along with his family's figuring out how to pay for the medical help that saved his life. He says he doesn't have health insurance because he works for a mom-and-pop business that doesn't offer it.
All right, thank you, Henry Erb, for more on that. And let's get the latest on H1N1 clinics around the area. Kalamazoo County's clinic for tomorrow is booked solid. They're having another one week from today. You must be in a priority group and must make a reservation by calling 269-373-5283 during normal business hours. Buren County will hold a clinic tomorrow for people in those priority groups. It runs from 5:30 until 8 in the evening at the Michigan Avenue Academy in Paw Paw. That clinic is first come, first serve. Calhoun County is holding an H1N1 clinic Saturday from 9 until 2 at Crossroads Church in Marshall. This is also for priority groups, and again, it's first come, first serve. The latest on clinics around West Michigan is also available at woodtv.com in the flu section on our homepage.